Hey everybody, I'm back in the kitchen today and I'm thrilled to be here because I'm going to show you a wonderful copycat recipe. Now it's not one that I found online, it's just one that I made up. If you've ever been to Red Lobster, you will know that they bring you out a basket of these little buttery, cheddary biscuit things that are to die for. Shut up, they're so stinking good. Well, then they came out with a box mix that you can buy at the grocery store. Well, it's good, it's real good. But I don't like to have to depend on a box mix if I want to make something, you know? So I'd rather be able to make it from scratch and make it even better because that's what I've done. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. I mean, it's a simple, easy, throw together recipe. It is a drop biscuit. There's no forming necessary. You don't got to roll it out, cut it out or anything. A drop biscuit is just basically you drop it on a pan into whatever shape it is that you've got. Either you drop it with a teaspoon, or in this case, I'm going to use my handy dandy little cookie scoop. So here we go. You're going to need 1 full cup of self-rising flour. Don't use plain flour. Use self-rising because it's already got the leavening in it. It's already got the salt. It's easy peasy, and that's what we're looking for. So it's 1 full cup of self-rising flour. And this is my trick for making a good biscuit. Freeze your butter for just a few minutes. I put this in the freezer about 20 minutes ago. It's not rock solid, but it's nice and firm. And when you freeze your butter and you mix it in with your flour, it just makes a nice texture inside the biscuit. Cold fat, I don't know. It's science. Go figure. Anyway, I'm just going to grate this. Makes it real easy to grate too whenever you freeze it. So I'm grating this butter. Try not to grate my fingernail in there, because who wants to eat a biscuit with a fingernail in it? Get this done. Just takes a minute, and you could actually, you didn't want to have a grater or you didn't want to grate it, you could just cut it up into little pieces too, but I just find that grating it works the best way for me, so that's what I do. Alright, so that is a half a stick of salted butter. That's what you need. So now I'm going to switch out my spatula from my fork, and I am going to incorporate this butter into the flour. Now, I say incorporate, I'm just kind of smushing it together, trying to make a little bit of a crumb mixture almost. You're just trying to rub some of that fat into those flour proteins. Make it nice and sticky so everybody will hold together good. Easy peasy. Alright, so let me move my flour so you don't have to look at that anymore. To my flour mix with the butter, I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. The thing about the Red Lobster biscuit is their secret ingredient is Old Bay seasoning. Now it makes sense because it is a seafood restaurant. And Old Bay seasoning is wonderful with crab, with fish, you name it, shrimp. It's just a marvelous accompaniment. And those biscuits are just good. And so, it's not broke, don't fix it. Use what they use. And so we're going to be using Old Bay. Now I'm not going to be overwhelming the biscuit with the Old Bay flavor because we just want a hint. We don't want to kill them. We just want to get a little, hint of the Old Bay. So I'm going in with half a teaspoon of Old Bay. I can get it out of this little thing. Yeah, just a half a teaspoon. Boom. Right into the bucket. And then I'm going in with a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Why? Because I like it. I'm a garlic head. I've said it before. Just a little. If you don't like garlic that much, don't use it. You could use onion powder. Or if you don't want to use it at all, well, just skip it. But I like it, so I'm going to use it. Alright, so mix that up a little bit. And now in goes the cheese. Now for these cheesy, easy bay biscuits that we're making, the idea is to use cheddar because cheddar is wonderful in these biscuits. It just has the right amount of, when you eat sharp cheddar, it makes you kind of go right back here. Well, you can use sharp, you can use medium, you can use regular mild cheddar. You can use whatever you want. And actually, if you don't want to just use cheddar, you can mix it up and you can add some Parmesan, you can add KopyKat, you can add Swiss, just really any kind of cheese mixture that you want to use. But I caution you, don't use more than 4 ounces. Now 4 ounces is half a cup. This looks like it's more than half a cup, but it's just because it's loose. If I were to pack it down, it would weigh right at 3.9 to 4 ounces because I did weigh it. Because if you use too much cheese, and if you're like me, you want all the cheese. Well, all the cheese is a good thing, but when you use too much in this recipe, the biscuit wants to flatten out. It won't rise up into a little puff ball like what we're hoping to achieve. So just moderation on the cheese, y'all. It's going to be plenty if you just stick with the 3.5 to the 4 ounces of cheese. And I'm just mixing it around. Just like that. So I'm going to grab my buttermilk. I'm using cultured whole buttermilk. That means it's full fat. Now if you don't want to go out and buy buttermilk just for this, you don't have to. You can use regular plain milk, sweet milk. I guess you could even use almond milk or oat milk or one of the other plant-based milks. But I like cow milk because none of us here have a problem with dairy, thank God. And I just find that the whole fat cultured buttermilk works the best. So I'm going in for a half a cup. Better hold it up so I can see what I'm doing. All right, straight in. Now this is so easy, y'all. There's no fancy mixing. There's no kneading or folding. You just mix the crap out of it. See? Mix it up until it forms a nice ball. And that's what we're hoping to get, is just a nice little ball of dough. And I honestly think that I could use just a hit more of buttermilk because that just, it soaked it right up. So let's do, I'm going to do a capful. Well, let's do 2. There's a method to my madness. This just shows you that it doesn't have to be super exact. Close enough, right? All right, so this looks pretty good. I have got it mixed up to where all the dry ingredients on the bottom has been incorporated. And I don't want to mix it more than that because they'll get tough. You don't want a tough biscuit. Trust me. So, put this here and move my dough there. And we'll show you how to do it. So this is just pie pan. You want to use a pan that's lined with parchment. And this is just what I grabbed. So, line with parchment, take some spray, give it a kiss. There you go. Now, take my handy dandy little scooper. I'm going in and I'm going to make biscuits. Well, I say they're biscuits. They're a little drop of wonderfulness. See? Now this recipe should yield 8 or 9 of these little drop biscuits. And I'm going to fill this pie tin up with them. And then I'm going to show you that you could also, if you didn't want to go freeform like this, then you could put them into a muffin tin and it would be great. So, see? They're wonderful looking. Easy as P-I-E. Alright, so here's what I'm going to use for my muffin tin. This is just a little silicone non-stick, but you still got to spray it a little bit. No joke. So I'm just going to use these on the end. Let's see, and I won't use my scooper because, well, it's too stinking big. This is 3 tablespoons. And these are mini muffin tins, so you won't need that many at all. So I'm just going in with, I don't know, it's probably half a teaspoon. And I'm going to put it in the little muffin tin. And I'm just filling it up like that. See? It's so easy. Easy peasy. And it tastes so good. And it's just as good as the box mix you get at the grocery store. And it probably, overall, in the long run, it won't cost as much as if you're keeping all that on hand Because you have all this stuff on hand probably anyway, except for the buttermilk. That might be something that you have to buy specifically. But I think it's a crying shame if you don't have buttermilk on hand all the time. Hello. Of course, I am from the South, and I have buttermilk in my veins, I suppose. As any good Southern girl should. Because if you make your homemade biscuits with sweet milk, or regular milk as folks call it these days, I don't want to eat your biscuits. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I just think that I gotta spray 2 more. The best biscuit comes from buttermilk. There's just something about the acid in it that mixes well with the proteins in the flour and in the butter. It just makes the best stinking biscuit there is. I'm sorry. I'm a creature of habit, and that's what I grew up with, and that's what I like. So, okay, look at that. Got them all done. Got, well, that's 2, 4, 6, 9, and then these. So now we're going to stick them in the oven. Got it preheated to 450 degrees. These are going to cook fast because it's going to be hot rise. It's boom, the heat's going to hit it, and they're going to go poof. So let's put them in. It's going to look probably about 8 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I'm going to check them, pull them out, and then I'm going to show you what to do with the topping because, well, that's where it gets good. So that goes in. I don't think those will fit on the top, so we'll just go there. Set my timer for 10 minutes. All right, so now comes the fun part. This is the butter topping because you got to drench them when they come out of the oven. That's the good part about those biscuits at the restaurant. When they come to the table, they're still soaked and glistening with the butter that they've just put on them. So, and it's easy to make. So, here is half a stick of melted butter. And to that melted butter, I'm going in with just a little bit of garlic powder. This is a 1/4 teaspoon, just because that's what I like. Going to hit it again with the Old Bay because we really want that flavor to carry through from the biscuit into the butter sauce because, well, it's in the name, Bay Biscuit, so we want the seasoning to come through. So I've got, let's see, that's a 1/4. We want to do half a teaspoon. That's about half a teaspoon. And then, because it's what they do at the restaurant, I'm going to put some dry parsley in. Dry parsley, I don't know, it doesn't seem very exciting, but it adds color, and there is an underlying flavor profile that it adds. So go in with a teaspoon of that, and then we're going to get pork and mix it all together. Now it just comes together lovely. I'm going to sit this and let it bloom until the biscuits come out of the oven, and at that point, we're going to paint them with the butter. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, be back in a minute. All right, so the buzzer is going off. Let's check these things. Let's pull these little ones out first. Woo! Silicone is an interesting medium to bake in. I don't know if I'm on board with it or not because, I don't know. Maybe if I'd filled the whole thing up, it might have been nice. I don't know. But these look good. Ooh, boy, look. They're just starting to get nice and brown on top. And I think that this is a perfect, let's put on this amount of doneness. Because I don't want them to be crunchy on the outside. I just want them to be a little bit brown. And this looks good. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and butter them. So while they're nice and hot, I take my melted butter that I put in the microwave earlier and got it all nice and melty. And look, I'm going in and I'm just going to generously coat them in this butter sauce. Because why wouldn't I? And you should use it all. There's should be just enough to cover them all and make them pretty stinking happy. So I'm going to do the same to these little guys. And you might find that you really like to make them in the pan. And that's fine. It's really whatever you want. I never do. I always make them drop. just because I'm not that concerned about what they look like or quantity, because there's always plenty. But if you want to do muffins, well then this seems to work out pretty stinking good. So there, yeah, I'm impressed. All right, I got a little bit of butter left, so I'm see who I might have missed out or skipped on. That's all she wrote, folks. I'm going to pull one of these out of this pan. Yes. They are perfect. Look how pretty they are. Seriously, if that doesn't take you right back to Red Lobster, I don't know what will, because it smells like the Old Bay seasoning. All right, so I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to, look at that. It's perfect. There's just the right amount of cheese and it pulls just a little bit and it's nice and soft and fluffy inside. All right, going in. Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner, cheesy bay biscuit dinner. It's really, really good. It's really, really easy. I hope you make them. I would be complimented if you did make them because, well, I hope I'm teaching you something. Let's try one of these. Yeah, it's nice and uniform. It got a little bit of brown on the bottom. The top, let's see the middle. It is perfectly done. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Cute little thing. Just crunch it. Perfect. Hot dog, that's good, y'all. Well, I'm just as pleased as punch with how these turned out. I think you will be too. I want you to come over to JamieTeachMeToCook.com. I will have the recipe printed out in a Word document that you can either download and save, or you can print it out. The video will be posted there as well as some pictures and, whatever. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would make my day. I do appreciate it. You come see me over at Facebook at Jamie Teach Me to Cook. I'm always posting things over there. And if you have something that you are particularly interested in seeing me tackle, I will attempt most anything. So send me an email. I'm happy to respond to you. I'm happy to talk to you. I hope that when you watch the video, you leave a comment. But don't be ugly. I'm telling y'all, I'm still getting comments of people say I talk too much. And I'm like, y'all, these are tutorial videos. I'm supposed to be walking you through the process of making something. I can't just be silent. What the heck, y'all? Lighten up. Anyway, make them. They're fabulous. Mwah. I love you.